Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tayler Yarish Show. Here we are. How's it going? How is your Monday or whenever you're listening to this? We're back at it. Another week. I was out this morning early. My uncle was running the New York City Half Marathon. Ran the half marathon. The half marathon is when, it's 13.2 miles, and then you finish it, and then you go back to your friends, and you're like, yeah, just ran the marathon. And you're hoping that nobody tries to clarify which one, you just kind of say, marathon. Like, yeah, I ran the New York City Marathon. Oh, you ran the full marathon? Well, no, it was a half marathon. Oh, okay, so that's different. That's not. So you didn't run the marathon. You ran the half marathon. Marathon is 26.2 miles, and you ran half of that. So you didn't run it. I know people who do that. Yeah, totally ran the marathon. You ran the full marathon? Wow. No, I mean it was a half marathon, but what are you gonna do? It was a lot of fun. I ran the Brooklyn half marathon. I forget when, maybe a couple years ago, and it was a lot of fun. It was cool to it's fun to go to the marathon if you know somebody in the race. You can track them on the phone, and then you meet up with them, and you try to say hi or whatever. And I had the moped, right? I'm riding all over the fucking city trying to link up with my uncle, and he just never saw me. I went all the way to Brooklyn this morning, got up early, found a spot, went up to the side. I had my camera out and everything. I'm tracking him on the phone, and then he comes up. He's on the other side of the street, so I'm screaming at him. He doesn't hear me. And then you only have a couple seconds, right? So then I'm like, fuck. So then I get back on my moped. I'm riding alongside the marathon, but a couple streets over. But then they block every fucking street in Brooklyn. Dude, if I was in a car, I'd still be in Brooklyn right now. I swear. There was so much traffic. I'm just weaving in and out, breaking every law. You know how we do. And had to go up through Williamsburg, go over the Williamsburg Bridge, go down, go up First Avenue, and then Marathon was kind of going on FDR. It was going on the highway. So then I'm kind of matched with it. He's going up the highway. I'm going up First Avenue, and then I park at 42nd Street, hopping over police barriers. I mean, I felt like a journalist or something. I felt like I was a journalist, in Ukraine or something, covering something important. Just this. It's just as important. I'm basically a Ukrainian war journalist trying to take photos of my uncle. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was doing, you can't ride your scooter there. I have to. I need to catch him. Cops were now all the cops are standing. They're not in their cars. And even if they were in their cars, you're not going to fucking catch me. I mean, I'm just going in and out of traffic and stuff. So they just look at you. They're like, where are you going? And I'm like, I got to make it, hop, park, go under a couple barriers, and then you're on the side. I made it up to 42nd Street, and now he's coming off the highway, down 42nd Street, again, on the other side of the street, fucking missed him. So pissed. So I'm like, all right, there's that chance is gone. So then I go back onto the bike. I race. I go across 39th to 8th Avenue, hook a right, go up 8th Avenue. I'm kind of he's running up 7th Avenue. I'm going up 8th. I park. And then I'm running with my backpack up by Columbus Circle. And then he's at Columbus Circle, but an avenue or two over. So now I'm just running. I'm just running, trying to catch him. I'm running through the park, and then on the side, they were there's a place where you could stand on the side. That's where everyone was. And I'm running, and I basically just there was like a mile and a half left in the race, and I'm just running it now. I'm just running, trying to catch up with my uncle. And this is a horrible look, by the way. I'm just running with a backpack at a marathon, sweating, I have a hoodie on. Like, it didn't look good. I'm surprised I didn't get tackled by a cop. But I'm looking at my phone, trying to track him and shit. I don't see him. And then there's a part where, like, the race kind of, like, hooks. So I went straight, and I kind of cut him off, and then I got him, and then I ran in the race. I ran, like, the last, like, quarter mile with him or whatever. It was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. There was, like, 25,000 people or something that did the race, which that's how you know a half marathon is not that difficult. If 25,000 people are doing it, at one clip, like, it's probably not I don't like things like that where it's like, well, you finished, like, what's the average half marathon time? Let's see. What do you think? Men on average run a half marathon for 1:44. Okay, I think he did like 2:15. Get it together. Yeah, okay. So if the average is 1:44, you should cut it off at like 3 hours. Dude, they cut they're running right now. They could cut the marathon off at 3 hours. They do it at like 7 or something for the half. It's like, of course you're going to have fucking 25,000 people running this thing. Is it just, we'll have more people in there and then they pay more money? Like, it should be a competitive thing. It's a fucking race. You don't have a race with 25,000 people. I mean, that's just absurd. Right? Like, it's more exciting if it's only the most, like, elite people. You should have to qualify, I think. Right? 25,000 people. Like, I mean, some of these people running, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, eventually you'll get across. You could tell who's, like, actually keeping a pace. But if you're going out there, in a fucking Spider-Man outfit, with, like, sunglasses on and shit, it's like, hey, man. I don't know. Am I being a, like, curmudgeon? I guess those people have their place in the race, too. It's not really a race. They say it's a race, but it's not. But that's how I treat it, Your boy's competitive as shit. But it was fun. It was making me think of like when I was running and stuff. I'll tell you this, dude. I was like standing out there for a while just watching people. Dude, some people run weird as shit. Can I say that? Like, some people, you look at the way they run and you're like, dude, you're broken. You know what I mean? Like, there's like all this tension up in the neck, and they have like this stutter step style run where it's like there's just zero fluidity whatsoever. It looks like they're in pain literally every step that they take. And I'm not talking like, these aren't just like old people. Like, these are like some young people. Like, I don't know. It's just, you would think we all evolved as a species to run. There would be some sort of through line, like a recognizable kind of gait and run that we all possess, but it's just not the case, man. You see, it's like, I think as kids, everybody runs the same. And then as you get older, you have your office job and people just, sitting at home watching Mike and Molly on the TV for 11 hours. And then they just develop these, these issues, these things, they creep up. You got a tight low back, your glutes don't fire, you got tight hamstrings, your calves are locked up, and you just breathe. You can't breathe from your belly. You're breathing out your chest, and somebody's got a crink in their neck, and it's like, hey, bro, fucking, do a stretch every once in a while. Some of these, like, literally, they're just like locked up. I don't even know how they're running. And the pain on their face. I was taking pictures of some people, like, the pain on their face, man. God, I never want to fucking get like that. I never want to get. I think part of the reason I take or at least I try to take care of myself, is because of the fact I don't have insurance. You know what I mean? When you don't have insurance, all you got is your well-being. That's all. I actually fucking appreciate it. These people who have insurance out the wazoo, they just think that, if something happens, I'll go get it fixed. I'll go to physical therapy, we'll get it looked at. But I don't take it for granted being in marginally good shape. I don't take it for granted. And it's terrifying. I don't know how. Like, you ever see like some people's postures, like when they walk? There's people you see them on the street. There's people who walk at like a legitimate 90-degree angle. Have you ever seen somebody like that? Who's just walking and they're so bent over, like they're just looking at the floor as they walk. It's like, dude, how does that happen? How does that happen? You know what I mean? That's a gradual fucking thing. You don't just wake up one day and you can't stand up straight. Like, how do you get to the point where your whole shit is just rounded, man? There's some, like, I see a lot of homeless people like that. Like, their neck is just permanently, it's like they have Texter's neck permanently, but they don't have a phone. It's bizarre, man. Like, you just wake up one day, like, you start to pay attention to like the common things that people get as they get older, because most people do not take care of themselves. They just leave it up to God that they're going to look however they're going to look. They don't realize the control that they have over how they look and how they feel. Just fucking just stretch every once in a while. Every once in a while. But you see these people, like, their back is just, it's so rounded, like, horizontally, and their shoulders, they're like up, and they round forward because they're just like, I don't know if they're just like at a desk all day, and so their back muscles are they're just tight as shit, and they can't open their chest, and so their chest is just fucking weak, and this is all shit that I've had to, like, because I've had a back injury, I've had to fight against, so I'm, like, acutely aware of it when I see it in other people. Like, the way that some people, like how, like, a single guy, I guess, who's, like, scared of a relationship, he'd look at somebody who's in, like, a horrible relationship, like a couple arguing, and be like, oh, God, I never want to get like that. That scares me. Ugh. That's how I look at people who have, like, horrible posture, because I'm afraid of becoming that. You know what I mean? I'm afraid of being the guy who sits too much and then he, can't walk one day. It's terrifying. Yeah. But it was good to see him. He hasn't been in the city in a while, and he was asking me how it was, going on in the city. And it's fine, you know what I mean? Every once in a while, we got some shit that pops off the rails, There's something I saw. This made me laugh. This was a headline that I saw. Off-duty corrections officer smears feces in tenant's apartment. So, that's how it's going with some people. Like, let's go through this. An off-duty city corrections officer smeared feces all over Brooklyn tenant's apartment and then illegally evicted her less than 2 weeks later. Dude, what would bring you to the point? To that point, you know what I mean? How annoying does your roommate have to be to where you're wiping literal shit all over her door? How do you think he did it? Do you think he pooped, like, in his hand? Do you think he, like, put his hand underneath and he like pooped into it and then wiped it? Was he wearing a glove? Or do you think maybe he like pooped on the floor and then like doggy bagged it and then wiped? Like I wonder people like that, if there's ever a moment while they're mid-act, they just got shit in the hand and they're wiping it on the door. You think they ever just stop and they're just like, hey, what am I doing? What am I, this is, how does it say how old the guy is? No, it doesn't. But I guess the woman who rented out a room, she was 52 years old. Dude, 52 years old. That's like my mom's age, I can't imagine, like, if my mom was, like, renting a room out from some guy, you walk, you have a long day at work, you come home. So she came in, saw the guy was in her bedroom, and then he, like, ran out. You had a long day, boss chewed you out at work, subways were delayed, you're just like, it was like a homeless guy sleeping on the train, so it kind of smelled, and you couldn't change cars, so you're like, I gotta sit in this, you're listening to a podcast, and then your phone dies, you're like, fuck, goddamn, can I just get home? I just want to get off this train. But then you realize, I don't have any food at home, I gotta go to the grocery store, then you got to go through the grocery store, and there's another line. You go through. I forgot my store card. Can you look at it? No, you're supposed to have your store card if you want the sale. Okay, fine. I'll pay full price. Who cares? I wouldn't have got the organic blueberry. I would have got the regular blueberries, but they were on sale. It's fine. Just ring it up. I don't care. I just need to get home. I've had a long, hard day. Just bag. Yes, I'll pay the extra money for the bag. I don't care. Just bag it up. And they bag up your groceries and you walk home. You're like, oh, gosh, can't wait to, like, go home and collapse. Oh, I'm just going to, like, go home and unwind. This is going to be great. Maybe crack a bottle of wine. This is just what I need. And then you open the door and you're like, what is that smell? Whatever. Put the groceries away in the thing and go to my bed. Wait, what do you do in my bed? Wait, where are you going? What are you doing in my bedroom? Where are you going? And then you walk in your room, you just open the door and what's different? You just slowly look around. And at first you're just like, what is he, like, track? Is he wiping mud all over my... And then you start to smell it and you're like, are you fucking... What the fuck? Did you wipe shit all over my door? Dude, did you wipe shit on my bed? Like... is that not a cherry on top to having just a victim found feces smeared all over the bedroom door and door handle, as well as on the door mats, doorknob, and faucets in the bathroom, dude? Oh, God. The door handle, you're like, yeah, you're not even once you get in, you're not going to be able to out without touching my shit there, toots. Oh, my God. She went to work on Wednesday, returned to find the locks were changed and no eviction notice. Damn. Dude, wiping shit. Listen, I've had some weird roommates. But, like, I would like to hear his side of the story, right? Because it's not like she didn't do nothing. Maybe she was just, like, annoying and he didn't like her. Or maybe he's just legitimately out of his mind and she did nothing. But, like, what drives you to... Oh, yeah, you don't want to fucking do the dishes? I'll show you. Like, what would be the thing that made you do that? I've had bad roommates. My first roommate in college. Horrible. Just fucking weird. Nice kid, but just weird as shit. He was obsessed with wrestling, one of these... And he just did, like, I'd never had a roommate before. I didn't know, you only know the people you know. And then you go to college, you meet other people. It's part of the beauty of it, But then you get a rando, you find them, you connect online. They seem like a normal person. And then you get it, and then they're just weird. Like he watched wrestling every night. He does little shit. He'd watch wrestling every night. And then Every night before he went to bed, without fail, the dude had a bowl of SpaghettiOs. Serial killer, you know? Like he did the type of shit where it's like if he did kill people, I would be like, oh yeah, all those things. They would definitely mention them in the article. Watching wrestling every single night with a bowl of SpaghettiOs, 100%. He would FaceTime his family with like me in the room, and I was across, like our desks were across from each other, so his computer camera would face like the back of my desk, so I could like if I turned around, I'm just like looking at his dad, you know. And they were his dad was weird. He had a weird family too. Like they would FaceTime each other. It wasn't it was like, you know, whatever it was back then, I forget. They would like, you know, they'd FaceTime each other on the computer, but then they would like sit in silence for like minutes. For like minutes, dude. There'd be like a little catch up in the beginning, and then they just like stare at each other. And I keep like peeking back because I think the call is over. And then I'm like connecting eyes with the dad. It was weird, dude. And then he got like a girlfriend halfway through the year. And she'd come over, you know, which is fine. But then they'd like fool around with me in the room, like at night and stuff, you know. Our bed is like 2 feet from, you know, each other. And they would like they would wrestle like under the covers, you know, like move around and shit. And then they'd lay there. And they would just like, they'd lay like face to face and not say, and they don't talk. Again, with the not talking. Like, did this guy just communicate with just through, you know, mind shit? It was weird. And then we had like this silent battle going on because he watched wrestling every night. Like Monday Night Raw was like church for him. But I also like to watch House every Monday at 8, you know? So it was like a silent like race to get home to see who could like nag the TV first. So he'd like bust in the room. He'd see me watching House, and he would just like slowly close the door and then go to the common room and watch wrestling, you know? It was an annoying experience. But I don't think anything ever happened that would bring me to the point where I'm rubbing shit on his bed. You know? Like, I guess you do that to make the other person leave voluntarily? I don't know, man. Dude, shit in the bed is never good news. When I was working at the hotel, we had a guy come in. He was like some film producer, some British guy. And like right off the bat, you could tell there was something wrong with this guy. You know? You didn't know if it was drugs or if he was older. You're like, is this just how you are? Just like he was very erratic. And this is how he would speak to you. And the sheets weren't changed when I came back to my room today. Okay. There was no waters in the refrigerator when I came back to my. So yes, please, darling, get the waters for the refrigerator, please. That's how he would talk. And you're like, all right, dude. All right, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, right away. Okay, just please go the fuck away. And he would stay for like a couple weeks on end. This is no, cheap hotel. So he's clearly got money, but like you knew something else was going on, right? And he never like said anything like anything that was going on in his room, but like I remember one day I think the cleaners went into his room to change over the sheets and stuff, and they found there was like shit smeared all in his bed, and then there was like a giant fucking, I don't know if it was a vibrator, dildo. I remember we saw pictures, like, just a huge fucking sex toy just laying, like, right in the bed. And then over on, like, the table was all dented up with, like, these little color, like chips in the wood, but then, like, there were like colored marks. So what he was doing, he was just taking pills, and he was like crushing up fucking Viagra and God knows what else, and like and snorting them. He was on drugs, you know. So he's just like crushing Viagra and, you know, shoving himself with a dildo and shitting in the and put the waters in the refrigerator, please. You know? And we had to be like, what do you do? I'm so glad I was not a fucking housekeeper person, you know? But, and I'm also glad that I wasn't like a manager or a boss or anything, so I don't have to like make the decision of like, well, like, what do you do, man? This dude's like shitting on the comforter. You don't replace. You can't wash. It's hard to wash those, dude, and they're not cheap to replace. So we had to like charge him a cleaning fee, and you can't just charge it and not say anything. You have to explain why you're charging a fucking $250 cleaning fee or God knows what else. And so, my boss had to pull him aside and be like, hey, man, so we charged you a fee, charged you a cleaning fee, because you shit in our bed, okay, you shit in our bed, and then you destroyed the furniture because you were crushing up Viagra. Now, listen, we're a home here. We're a family here. This is our home, and we're inviting you into our home. So if we invite you in, don't shit in our bed. Is that hard? Is that a level of rich where that just becomes like a cool, like a thing you do, you know? Or where like it doesn't matter. You're not worried about the consequences, you know? Like rock stars would do that. They'd go into a hotel and like they trash the room. Who gives a shit? We'll just pay for it. Like, I don't know. I just don't get off on them. I'm not like a fucking party guy like that. Like if I was rich and I'm like traveling, living in hotels and shit, it's like it's one thing to party in there, but why do you have to destroy the room? Why do you have to break the TV? Or shit in the bed to have a good time? I'm a low-key fucking dude, you know? Anything more than like 6 people, I start to tap out, you know? I was never like a big fucking party guy. I'm not a rave guy. I never like going to the fucking club, you know? Dude, I'm short. When I go to the club, I just get lost in the abyss, man. I disappear like Matt Damon at the end of Bourne Identity. I just fucking go into the crowd and you never see me again. I went into a club one time. My buddy, like we went to this bar and then we went to a club afterward, and I was in like shorts and I had like tennis shoes, just like not ready for a club, you know. And I'm already like, so I'm like insecure about that. And then, you know, everybody's like, there's like all these jack dudes, you know, and I'm just like, it's like on the smaller side, and I'm like just getting squished around, you know, and I'm like I'm insecure, and I was losing my hair, but I was like still trying to cover it up and hold on to it, and it was just like the whole thing was just not a good vibe, you know, and I had like a t-shirt that didn't fit me that well, and yeah, fucking cargo shorts, and they're like kind of bulky and baggy, and it's just not my fucking scene, man. I need to be in like a booth. I'm good in a booth. You know? Some music going, not too loud. A server, maybe like 4 people max. Couple old fashions. Dude, I'm on a roll. That's my fucking vibe right there. You know? And then when I need to, I get up like a gentleman. And then I go to the bathroom to shit. Okay? And when I do it, I don't shit in my hand and wipe it on the door. Because I'm not a fucking animal. Unlike some people, apparently. But that's what you got out here, man. there's people, don't push people. You never know what people are capable of until you push them to a brink. Is that the word? What's a brink? I always hear that. Pushed him to the brink, but what the fuck is a brink? An extreme edge of land before a steep or vertical slope. Oh. A brink. Push him to the brink. All right. Folks, that's the podcast. This week, this Wednesday, what do I got going on? This Wednesday, we have a Yarbar comedy show. Jay Jordan, Sean Patton, Drew Dunn, Aaron McGuire, Jeff Greenspan's in town. Fucking Jake Velasquez. Sorry, I fucking forgot one. Myself and Ted. It's going to be a good fucking show. Come through. Be at Stand Up New York tomorrow and Thursday. I'll be at the 10 Degrees Bar on Tuesday for my buddy's show. And then the Tiny Cupboard this Saturday. Some fun shows coming up this week. And then, I have a like an audition show, showcase audition show next Tuesday, the 29th, 7 p.m. at New York Comedy Club. It's an audition to get into New York Comedy Club, and it would be great to have some people there to cheer your boy on because, I would like to get past at that club. It's a good club. So if you can come, that'd be great. Hit me up, and I'll send you a link for some discounted tickets, or I'll fucking buy your ticket, It would mean that much to me. So yeah, that's the podcast this week. We'll see you next week. Enjoy your week. Have a good week. All right. Goodbye.